So I guess this is like the first page that I did in my sketchbook. So this was March last year when I started the sketchbook. Oh, so I remember doing this sketch on my sister's birthday, so March 23rd. So we had like a birthday hangout for her, and then I sketched her. Oh, okay. So this one I remember filming a reel about this day. It was like a Nigerian party, and then obviously I'm there with my sketchbook, and then I see this girl with this blue dress. She was like staying like really far right in front of me, and I was like, okay, cool, let me just sketch her. I eventually did end up showing her, and she seemed to have liked it, so yeah. And then this was my friend who was at the same table with me. This table had like tags, so I just took like my table tag and then just added it in my sketchbook. So I was on table 12. So yeah, I really like how it turned out. Okay, so I feel like the next couple of pages, or like the next couple of pages after this, was me planning to have like a tutorial. So I was planning on making like tutorial videos for like drawing portraits, like eyes and then facial features, but it never really just came through. I feel like many things were just happening, so I just never, edited the video. Although I did film a few, I just didn't edit the videos. Oh, okay. This was actually this year. This was in like February or like January, if I'm not mistaken. So like the next series of pages here was me when I went on a trip to Abuja. I stayed in Abuja for like about a week, and I took the bus. And I'm alive, but yeah, I took the bus. I didn't take a flight. This was me, when I went on the first bus ride. So I think I was like seat number 7 or so, if I'm not mistaken. And I really like how like the entire shape of the bus turned out. So here are my drinks. I pretty much spent most of the time like watching anime. I watched a lot of anime. Most of it was like rewatching anime that I've already watched before, like Jose, the Tiger and the Fish, Koe no Katachi. The Bride was, I think, about 12 hours. The first time it took me like a little over 12 hours, and then the second time was a little under 12 hours. But it was pretty fun. I enjoyed staying in Abuja. So this was the room that I stayed in for the entire week. So to do this sketch, I kept like a stool, like a little stool, like at the corner of the room, and then I stood. That's why it has like a top view perspective. Sketched the room a couple more times. So this was me waiting in the terminal, in Abuja before I left. Okay, so coming back, I took 2 different bus rides. So now, so the first bus ride I was, coming to Lagos, it was scheduled to drop on the island, like the Lagos Island, and I was coming to the mainland because that's where I live. So like this was the first bus that I took. I think I was like seat number 10 or so. So I was like really at the back, and then it's at my knees. And I had to switch to a different bus that was going to the mainland, and I stood right behind the driver. That's why it's like really close, and these are my knees. So it was pretty fun. So I did this sketch when I was waiting to meet somebody, and then my roommate was sleeping. He was sleeping on the bed. I was like, okay, sure, while I'm waiting, why don't I just sketch him? So that's what this is. Nothing here. Okay, so this was when I went to the Chinese restaurant Yin Gang with a friend. The food here was like pretty, it was meat in my honest opinion, but I did end up going to like a different restaurant, an actual Chinese restaurant, and that was pretty cool. I feel like, let me just find the page.
One eternity later.
So I ended up going to this restaurant later in the year, I think like in August or something. This restaurant was called Chinatown, So what happened that day is, two of my friends, were going on a date more or less, and obviously I didn't have a date, so I just went as like the fifth wheel, and it was absolutely fun. So while both peers were eating, obviously doing their thing, I just got my food, I was eating, and then I was sketching like some people that I saw in the restaurant. So I sketched this man, and then obviously when I'm sketching people live, they move a lot, so sometimes I just like to do like mini sketches to get their facial features before I now actually sketch it. I remember showing this man, before he was about to leave, and then I showed him like, oh yeah, like I drew you, and then I was like, okay, cool. And then he comes back around, then he tries to take a picture of what I had drawn. Because my sketchbook isn't chronological, I had no idea where it was, so I was just like fumbling around. I was like just waiting for like minutes trying to find like, where is this page, where is this? I eventually didn't find it, and the man just left. That was it. That was kind of embarrassing, if I'm being honest. Okay, so I feel like I really did do a lot of sketches of my room. So this actually isn't the first sketch of my room in my sketchbook, so I'm just going to go through everything. So this was the first sketch of my room in my sketchbook, and then I think I did this one. Right about that time, and then I done this in December. So like my room was really, really, really messy. By this time I already got my violin. Here's my violin case. I have shoes. On the floor there's like a bottle of ketchup, on the shoe box, and like my bed is really messy, and then here's my mirror. So like all through the sketches, my room changes sort of. I can't find the other sketch, but it sort of changes, and then up until this point, I think this was the very last one that I did. So one of the cool things I did get to do this year was practice the violin, or like buy a violin and then learn how to play it. So I got the violin in, I think like late November or like mid-November. So I've like been playing all through. It's actually right there. I've been practicing. Okay, let me actually play. But yeah, I've been practicing a particular song. Hint is a Studio Ghibli song. So let me just. Okay, I feel like I haven't played all this, so let me actually first rosin my bow a little bit.
12 seconds later.
Good. So now let me actually look at the sheet music.
A few minutes later.
I was supposed to be looking at sheet music. But yeah, it was very scratchy, but you get the idea. I mean, I've only really been playing for like 4-5 months. I think I'm just going to be using this song as like my progress report song. So like in a couple years from now, I definitely will be able to play flawlessly. So yeah. So if you're enjoying this video so far, you can head over to my website to get this very sketchbook. Okay, not this very sketchbook, but this type of sketchbook. So it'll be listed on my website. So if you want to get it, it's really affordable. You can do that. So. Oh, okay. So this was the time I went to get the art, so to get some art supplies, and then I did a sketch of my hand. I've been saving up to like get oil painting materials. So yes, I'm going to start fire painting. So I brought like a big brush, you know, a palette knife, and then obviously some paint. I wouldn't like show pictures of my painting soon because they'll be garbage, like because I'm just starting, but as time goes on. So this was actually the receipts. It says well because I ended up spending 31,000 at just one store, and that was just like to get the paint tubes. So I like had to go to a different store to get like the knife and the brushes and some other things. But yeah, that was just so just this cause what else. So I literally just took like a knife and then I was drawing. So this is I was like something like this. Okay, so now this was around the time my phone got stolen. What happened was that I was so bored. Most of this time I just spent like sketching random things. So, and here's one of the random things that I sketched. So this was my brother's bike, or this is my brother's bike actually. So I just sketched it in like different directions and positions because I was like so bored. I think that was around the time I also drew this. I was so bored that I was rotating this very chair that I'm sitting on, and then I was just like drawing it again in different positions. Like time moves so slowly when you really don't have anything to do. Oh, okay. So this was in June, July, August, September. No, this was, oh yeah, sorry. So this was the day, so this was 9th of December. So like my church, we do this beach hangouts thing. Because you know me, if you know me, like I absolutely just hate the beach. So that's why like at least once a year I have to be at the beach. I have to be at the beach because of the hangout. So I got there pretty early. So I like just sketched one of the tents that I was in. And then so this is like the ocean before people started truly living. So obviously I hate the beach, so that's like the perfect time to draw. So yeah, I was just sketching people, you know, throughout that day. So he was sleeping, hence why the face looks kind of wonky because he was moving around so much. I think he was playing a game. I think he was also playing a game. He also was playing a game. This is my friend. She was using her phone. But whenever you see sticky notes in my sketchbook, is usually to hide a mistake or something that I don't like, or a sketch that I don't like. And this is one of the cases because I was trying to sketch her. She's the exact same person here, but she was moving around so much, so I couldn't sketch her well. So I just put like a sticky note and then I sketched her again, and she still was moving around so much. But you know, what can I do? Okay. So now the story of this is pretty hilarious. So not the entire last year, but like a good amount of like time last year was random things, like the most random things were just happening. One of the random things that happened was that so my MacBook charger got fried. You know, there was like a power surge, and then my MacBook charger got fried. Then I got another charger, and then that one got fried again. That was just absolutely hilarious. So this is me like taking one of the charger heads. I think I still have it with me. Yeah. So I took it like this, and then I was just sketching out of anger and rage. But yeah. Oh, so this is me sketching, you know, my headphones again, like this. And then I was just sketching. The story of actually how I got them is also kind of funny because I got them off Gigi. So Gigi basically is like eBay, you know, if you're not in Nigeria. I see this profile, I see the headphones on the profile, and then the name of the account that, you know, posted the item was Ben Ahozie or something like that. And then, you know, I'd already agreed on the price, you know, I'd messaged the person, and then when I was about to pick up the headphones and, you know, pay for the headphone, then I see like a young lady. I see a young lady basically, and she's like, oh yeah, are you, you know, this person? I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm like, I'm waiting for a Ben. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm Ben. And like, I'm Benedicta. So this was at a so this again is like another church event that happens like once a year. So what happens is that we raise money, you know, to plant out different churches. So to end sort of like mark the event, you know, all of us go to the Lekki Ikoyi bridge, and then we run laps around the bridge. So what happened that day is that, you know, as I got to the place, it just started raining. And obviously, like I mentioned before, I hate the rain, I hate water bodies, all that stuff. So as I just saw that I was about to rain, I just went to like the nearest supermarket I could find. So yeah, one of my friends was there, and then, you know, I sketched her shoes, and then we also met, you know, one of our friends again in the mall as well, who was taking shelter, and then I sketched him too, and then some items that we got. I really like how they turned out, and I like that day, even if it rained a lot. Okay, so again, I have a reel on this day. This was a wedding basically. Sketched some of my friends at the wedding. This is me, sketched the bouquet, and then my shoes as well. So this is actually kind of funny because this isn't, so I did draw a lot of frogs in this sketchbook, but this actually isn't the first frog that I've drawn, first frog that I've drawn in this sketchbook. So I think it is this one. So what happened that day, I was sketching and then I was really hungry, so I just drew the frog saying I'm hungry. So the Rubetias, this is basically the album cover for a rock frog band. So this is a rock frog band, the Rubetias. I found it kind of funny. It's very cheesy, but I did find it kind of funny. And like I mentioned, if you see sticky notes, so I hated how this sketch turned out, so I just used a sticky notes to cover it. Same thing with this one. So I hated this sketch, so I used the sticky notes to cover it. Same thing here, I hated this sketch, so I just used the sticky notes to cover it. Sticky notes saves lives. I think this sketch, I did a reel, or I had a reel on this video. So it's me basically just sketching people eating. So I did this, this guy's eating like ramen, and then this as well. This is actually a picture of me, or this is my face, or intended to be my face anyways. And then she also is eating like ramen, and then he's eating shawarma, and then I think she's eating a burger. And then this day, so what happened is that, so these two pages are from the same day. So went out on a hangout with a couple of my friends, and then I see this guy right across me, and then I sketch him. These are one of my friend's shoes, and then this was a flower at the place, and then this was my table, or our table rather. I tried to sketch, you know, some of my friends playing chess, but they were moving around so much. I was hungry. Actually, I didn't even get to eat that day. You know, one thing, I'm just going to rant a bit. So one thing that I find very annoying is that usually when like a large group of my friends, like when we usually go out, you know, for like a hangout or anything, I'm usually one of the first people to get there, but I'm always, or usually, the very last person to get my food. And it's so annoying. So this day I didn't even get to eat because like it was taking so long to prepare my order, and then people who trooped in like super late got their food and were eating. That's kind of annoying. I don't know what's going on there, but another frog. Oh, okay, so this was the day before my birthday. So I went out with my sisters, and then we went to ShopRite after we sorted something out. And then so this was me at Czech Republic, you know, sketching the people that are literally sitting right in front of me. So I think there were a group of 4 friends. So it was just only one guy that was there, and then this friend, she was resting her head on the table. She was, I think, listening to music or watching a movie, I can't remember. And then the 4th friend was just moving so much that I couldn't draw her. But this guy, as I was drawing him, because obviously I have to look, you know, at his face, he just kept staring at me. And then like there were some instances where like we actually locked eyes. That was very awkward, but you know, I still had to do it. I ended up showing them at the end, and they seemed kind of excited, especially her. Like she was like super excited. But yeah. Okay, so yet again another frog. So I think this actually is the last frog that I did in my sketchbook, and I think this was around the time of my birthday, so hence why the frog has like a birthday hat. And then this is like the only note in my sketchbook. So I had gotten this note along with a present. So at the time I got it, it was in September, right? Sorry, this was in July. This was 9th of if I remember June. Sorry, June. This was in June. And then one of my friends comes over and then she hands me this note along with a sketchbook. At the time she gave me, it really didn't make sense. It just says, "I'm so proud of you. I just wish you would stop and take deep breaths sometimes." And I'm like, what are you talking about? But it was later when I was cleaning my room, I think sometime in November, and then I saw it, and then it just made a lot of. And the interesting thing, why it's actually in my sketchbook, is because it came with a sketchbook. Ta-da! It's actually much better than this current sketchbook. I think this sketchbook is only about 110 GSM, while this sketchbook is 200 GSM. So the higher the GSM, basically the better the sketchbook. I really don't use like spiral binded sketchbooks because, you know, like I can't really draw I can't really draw so well like this, but I will figure a way around using this sketchbook. But yeah. And then this was the last, or rather this is the last sketch in my sketchbook. So this is why you don't see a lot of like pencil in my sketchbook, because I really do not like the way it smudges around, you know, after a while. So I was doing like some light studies of my face. So I like took my lamp over here and then I just placed it in different directions to sketch. I think that is the end of my sketchbook tour. The reason why I mentioned that it is the sketchbook that changed my life, a lot of the events that happened, you know, this previous year, I did sketch about it in my sketchbook. And if you see like my previous sketchbooks or like my previous sketchbook tours, they were mostly were like just portraits of people, like maybe just portraits and figures. But I feel like this sketchbook was really where I got to explore like just drawing everyday life and drawing like random things that happen, you know, around me. So I was able to draw a lot, like you can tell, in the span of less than a year. So yeah, this sketchbook literally changed my life, and I have a new sketchbook now.